Welcome and thank you for tuning into this episode of the podcast, Evidently You're Unaware. I am your host, Andrea, and I'm excited that you're here for what will be another wonderful conversation with a candidate running for office, and this time locally in Clearwater, Florida. So I know some of you hear some of this all the time, but I can't say it enough. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed and are following this podcast platform. And for those who are here for the first time or you're sharing it for the first time, thank you as well. Please do subscribe and help us get the message that many may not be aware of out to broader audiences. So without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about the Candidate Conversation series. This series was implemented here on this platform simply to bring a spotlight upon those who are running for office locally, statewide, and yes, in some cases at the federal level. I believe that there is a moment, and that moment is now, where voters cannot be the regular, typical voters. We must be engaged and educated on every level in every election. Every single election literally is now a matter of where we're going and where we don't want to go. And so that's what this candidate series is about. It's simply to bring those persons forward so that you can hear from them. Some of you may have heard from some of them in other spaces, but here on this virtual platform, we aim to simply bring them forward so that you know who is on the ballot. So I have the pleasure of bringing forth today none other than Jared Leone, who's running for Clearwater City Council Seat 4. Jared is a lifelong Pinellas resident and nearly 20-year Clearwater homeowner. He built his career as an award-winning journalist, spending more than 20 years covering local government, neighborhoods, businesses, and community issues for organizations, including the Associated Press, Reuters, the Tampa Bay Times, and the Washington Post. For nearly a decade, he has served as chair of the City of Clearwater's Environmental Advisory Board, where he has helped shape sustainability initiatives, champion policies that save taxpayers money, and played a key role in the adoption of Green Print 2.0, Clearwater's Sustainability Action Plan. Jared believes that strong cities are built by engaged residents, transparent government, and leaders who are willing to listen. Rather than building relationships with political insiders, Jared says, he has spent the past 2 decades building relationships with neighbors, business owners, and community volunteers. His campaign for Clearwater City Council Seat 4 is centered on representing every neighborhood in Clearwater while focusing on affordability, public safety, smart growth, environmental stewardship, and protecting the exceptional quality of life that makes Clearwater home. Help me welcome none other than Mr. Jared Leone. Hey, Jared, welcome to the platform. Evidently, you're unaware.
Thanks for having me, Andrea. What a terrific introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was pleased to pull it all together.
What a terrific job. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've given a brief bio, but is there anything else you want to add? We're going to dive into some questions. I know that there are those awaiting to hear from you, but anything you'd like to share that I might have needed to maybe bring to the spotlight a bit further?
I would be remiss if I did not mention that I raised 5 guide dog puppies in training for Southeastern Guide Dogs, and that's one of the highlights of my volunteer service is being able to have helped people who needed animals to help give them dignity for their lives. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Well, let's dive in. I'm going to throw it right out. I'm going to say the easiest thing I'll ask you today, and that will be, why are you running? Why are you running for Clearwater City Council? I gave some snippets about what your campaign platform is on, but simply tell the viewers, listeners, why are you running for this seat in Clearwater, Florida?
Thanks, Andrea. I think that's a great question, right? Why? could do a lot of other things, but I think
Right.
it's extremely important. I've been involved in our community for decades, and I feel that my background and professional experience uniquely qualifies me and sets me apart from really anyone running, and really puts me in a position to get ready to work for all of our neighbors on day one. And that's why I'm running, is to make sure that we have someone that is going to represent all of us at the table.
All right. Well, I told you that was the easiest one, so here we go.
Uh,
There is much conversation. I was full transparency. I'm a Clearwater resident as well, and there's much conversation, resident disapproval regarding decisions being made, public land, green space, properties being sold, kind of without much citizen resident awareness. In your opinion, Jared, why? Why is there seemingly such a lack of transparency? And more importantly, what criteria will you use to prioritize both neighborhood transparency, revitalization, should you become a member of the council?
Thanks. Yeah, that's a great question. And obviously, yes, you do live here because you've seen and heard a lot of these. I have heard these same concerns and issues throughout not only this campaign, but as president of the Clearwater Neighborhoods Coalition and president of my own neighborhood association, we've in many neighborhoods throughout the city been blindsided by projects or different initiatives that have come before city council. I couldn't tell you why that happens. I can tell you that I will work to stop that from happening, and increase the opportunity for transparency and for neighbors to be heard by the council when I'm on the council. I think I've for a long time worked to increase and advocate for neighborhoods, and that's one thing that I think is left out at the council, and maybe that's where we're missing some communication there.
Yeah, yeah, we got to find a way to have a connect, between the council and the residents. I mean, I think you'll agree. If not, you feel free to disagree, but I think you'll agree. Our council and the local government is the closest form of government to the residents. I mean, you're it. The council is it, and so we've got to be able to, have that partnership and that trust factor, I
Yeah.
believe, so that we believe our elected officials are enacting on our behalf, and our behalf is what's best for the city and the residents that live within it. Yeah.
Agreed. I think also as residents, it's incumbent upon us to be educated and engaged as well. And so there are opportunities where we've we've missed those conversations, but there's also those opportunities where as residents we're missing it because we're not plugged in, and maybe we need to ensure
Yep.
that we're as engaged as we possibly can be, so that there isn't an excuse on our side. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That segues me into another question that I'd like to ask, and that is sometimes our residents, and I've seen this, so it's what really catapulted this platform is to help people become more aware that we don't just have a state and a federal level of government, second and third tier. We've got a first tier, which is local, and that's our city council and city commissions, et cetera. But name, as a council member, can you just share maybe one or even two of the direct impact, the role that you play as a council member? How does that directly impact the resident? Like directly, why is the city council member important to our lives?
yeah, thank you. That's a great question, and variations of that I have heard and answered throughout the campaign. And I think we're looking at right now, it's budget season, and the city council has or is looking at an $800 million budget, and so there is a lot that impacts us. The quality of life, public safety, affordability, those are all issues that as a council member you can have some impact on, whether it's fees, millage, uh, what residents pay to the city and the services that they get, whether we're keeping recreation and centers and parks open or closing them, response times by our police and fire, all those things, we pay for through our taxes and other streams of revenue. Those are things that we have to look at to ensure we'll be able to continue paying for and keep that level of quality of service available. But
Mhm.
those are things that, as a council member, you can influence and impact. How our money's spent, and and how it's directed, and where it's spent. So I think there's a number of opportunities that, as council, we have every single council meeting an opportunity to impact our residents' lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I am a huge proponent, if you will, about local politics, and not that everybody can be everywhere, at the same time at every meeting. But we have to understand just what our council does, and when we're not there, or when residents are not aware, there seems to maybe be a misunderstanding, and then the misunderstanding could have kind of easily been cleared up.
Yeah,
Had there been more
certainly.
questions or more presence, and I'll put something back on the council being more forthcoming to say, hey, this is what's happening. We need input, that kind of thing. So
Certainly. Certainly.
tell me about businesses. I know there's a lot of, there's some focus here at the
Yeah.
downtown area now, and without getting to all the weeds of that, just share with me how you, as a city council member, Jared, would do more, or do whatever, make changes if there needs to be, on how to attract businesses from all genres, not
Sure.
just restaurants or whatever, all genres, and I will dare say all ethnicities of
Yeah.
business owners, just to
Yeah.
have that inclusivity of our downtown.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that's a great question too, and I think there's a lot to answer, or a lot I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
answer. Hopefully,
yeah.
I'll be able to
Bring it in. Yeah.
condense it here. But I think that, for one, I was part of the Harvard Bloomberg studies that the city did this last year, looking at permitting and processes, that not just for residents and homeowners, but how it impacts businesses. And that's one thing I heard from small business owners throughout the city, that
Mhm.
there isn't consistency in some of the permitting process. So it makes it difficult, if you are a small business owner, to open and operate, if it's going to take you 3 to 6 months longer, and you still have these bills to cover, but you're not open and bringing in revenue. So we need to look at how we can streamline these processes and ensure consistency as well, so that we are seen as a business friendly and open for business. And that way we can approach, like you said, a very wide array of opportunities for people to have business in the city. And I think that really starts with being business friendly, and being able to not have 6 to 8 months of sitting around waiting and going back and forth to try to open a business. As president of the Clearwater Neighborhoods Coalition, one of the things that we've had discussions about, um, the opportunity that we're looking at for not just downtown, but throughout the city, and what kind
Mhm.
of businesses that we'd like to see come into our city. And
Mhm.
it is more than just restaurants, and we should be looking at more than just restaurants, because
Yep.
if we have a vibrant downtown, or restaurants should be part of that. And in any downtown throughout our Tampa Bay area, downtowns have good restaurants. So we should certainly be looking at what's the next type of business that we're looking to try to bring in. I couldn't tell you specifically one or another that I would, want to target, but I think, like you said, an eclectic mix that is where not only people who live in the area want to go to, but you can
Right.
have destination type businesses that people
That's
come
the
to,
key.
because
Yep.
they can't get
Yep.
that anywhere else. So
Yeah, that's the key. And then those that do live, the residents want to invite, people where
exactly.
you don't have to plan to, come to Clearwater but go to Disney. Come to
Yeah.
Clearwater but go to, you want to have an array of activities and opportunities right, within the city. So thank you so much for addressing that. So
Yeah.
we'll see, what happens. So before we close, I'm going to bring it bring it on in. Here we are.
Okay.
This is it. Let's talk about your race. The ballots are out, so this is not a secret. You are running against Bianca Latvala for this seat. City races are nonpartisan, like some of the other races where we clearly, we know political affiliations, etc. This is a nonpartisan race. Residents who are engaged, pretty much understand that. They know that, even though they don't see, a D or an R, they understand it. But in 60 seconds, tell voters why they should show up. That's number one, because, not just midterms have low turnout. Local elections sometimes do too. I know we went through this whole, move our local elections to the primary. Here we are now that is you're on the first run of that test. Yeah. So tell the voters why they should show up and not only vote in Florida's primary election, because there are other candidates and seats on the ballot, but why should they entrust seat 4 to Jared Leone?
Yeah, thanks. I've been involved in our community for decades, professionally as a journalist, as a volunteer, chairman of our environmental advisory board, puppy raiser with Southeastern Guide Dogs, president of the Neighborhoods Coalition, president of my neighborhood association, vice president of Keep Pinellas Beautiful. It's not just doing these things or holding these positions. It's what I've done while in these roles and the impact that I've made as a volunteer, as a professional in our community. And I look forward to bringing that impact as your next city council member. This is one of the most important elections for Clearwater's future, and the turnout for this election is extremely important because this is the first election that's been moved to the primary, and we need as many people as possible to come out and know that there is an election going on right now, because this is the first time that we are voting for Clearwater City Council during the primary. So I really appreciate and hope to earn your vote if I haven't already. And if there's any other opportunity between now and August 18th, please feel free to reach out to me, and I hopefully will be able to answer any questions you have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all over the age of 18. This is it. The primary elections are coming up. And so with that said, Jared, thank you so much for being aboard on this platform. If you want to get involved, learn more, donate, go to Jared for Clearwater. There it is, jaredforclearwater.com. Jared, Jared, the word for FOR, Clearwater.com. Jared, thank you once again. And I know that all eyes are on it, so we're going to be watching out, and I appreciate your time today. And voters, let's get smarter. Here we are.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, voters, thank you so much for tuning in. The election season, as you know, is in full swing. So let's review the primary calendar. I just want to take a moment to do that right now. We are in the midst of the early voting period, August 8th through the 16th. That is the early voting period. Please make a plan to vote. And this is me, your host of the podcast talking. It's not on behalf of the candidate or anyone else. I am encouraging folks to vote early. Yes, the election day is August 18th. But yes, we're quite aware that there's a lot happening. There's a lot that could happen. I always use the thing of, what if you get sick? What if your children get sick? Figure out where you need to be during this window of time, August 8th through the 16th. And that way you are ensured that your vote is in and you don't have to be pressed on primary election day, August 18th. But should you have to do it, August 18th is the voting day. As I've stated here on Evidently You're Unaware, I am a believer that no administration, and in this case, because we interviewed with a local candidate, that would mean a city council or something local. No administration is perfect. And the reason for that is because people are not perfect. We the people are humanly flawed. And that's just a fact. That's not anything bad against one candidate or another. However, when we find that our government or people that we are typically electing into office are not representation of what we thought they would be, that is your clue to do something different. And so if you want a different city, if you want a different state, if you want a different federal government, you got to do something different. And so I am just simply saying, show up to vote. Number one, you have to show up and vote. Show up and vote. Let's make the midterms across the United States of America the biggest midterms ever. And after you show up and vote, be sure that you already know who's on your ballot so that you don't have to go in and make a haphazard decision. People-focused candidates. People-focused candidates are the new trend this year. I'm just going to coin it, the new trend. So just remember, when citizens choose not to vote, or you repeatedly support elected officials whose actions demonstrate little regard for the needs of people, we weaken our democratic accountability and we diminish the elected officials' responsiveness to the public. So I encourage everyone, be sure that you look at your ballot, you know who's on it, and make decisions about the kind of leadership, ethics, and moral stability that you expect and deserve from your local elected officials, your state elected officials, and your federal elected officials. My name is Andrea. Please be sure that you follow me on, there's the voting dates again, but please be sure that you follow me on TikTok, EYU podcast. I'm gonna work my way up on Blue Sky at thesuccessfuldiva.bsky.social. Subscribe to my YouTube channel on YouTube at Evidently You're Unaware, and email me. I love hearing comments from the episodes. I love following up with answers. If I can connect you to a candidate that you've heard, I'll be sure to do that as well. Andrea at strategicblueprint.info is my email. We look forward to having more conversations with you. Have a great day.